All right, so let's start seated. Comfortable cross-legged position. Let's take our right shin in front. As always, if it is hard for you to sit nice and tall here, if it feels like the knees are lifted up really really high, I can talk. Go ahead and sit on a blanket or two, and that's just going to make it a little easier to find a comfortable seat. And then let's just rock a little bit from side to side, and you can let the sit bone opposite the side that you're rocking to lift up. Just kind of notice how it feels when it touches down. Good. So feel even. It doesn't matter if you are or not. But then let's do forward and back. It's kind of the same thing. You're not going to get as much lift of the sit bones, but there'll be a little bit. Kind of just going from the front to the back. Good. So then just finding a nice tall seat, and it feels like you're really pressing evenly into your sit bones. So right in the center, maybe they're even spreading a little bit. You might find that by physically using your hands to help roll the thigh flesh out. And then go ahead and close your eyes. Just have your hands resting down on your thighs. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Inhale, fill up. Good. Exhale the breath out through your mouth. Ha. And then start to inhale and exhale through your nose. So finding your Ujjayi breath, constricting the sides of your throat so you find a little bit of that ocean sound. Definitely audible to you, but you don't have to overdo it. As you're sitting here, notice if there's tension that's creeping into your body. That often happens in the shoulders. They start to creep up towards the ears. You might be tensing the inner thigh, groin area. Can you soften in these places? Just soaking up these initial quiet moments. Good. Blink your eyes open here. You're going to bring your fingertips to your shoulder head so your elbows are out perpendicular from your shoulders. We're just going to twist a little bit here. Side to side. Can be super gentle. Your breath is kind of just doing its own thing here. You can still inhale and exhale through your nose. It might speed up a little bit. It's like your little washing machine agitator. Maybe you're just a human agitator. All right. Just start to come back to center. Inhale, stretch your arms out. Take an exhale, root down into your sit bones. Another deep inhale, find lots of length through the sides of your waist. And then as you exhale, begin to twist to the right. Take a couple of breaths here, just stretching your arms out. You can just gaze wherever feels good. Just see what's in front of you. And then release hands down. So left hand comes to the outside of that right thigh, right fingertips behind you. So you're just getting a little leverage. Really try to press your shoulder heads back so you're feeling that openness across your heart and chest. Maybe you bring your gaze out over your right shoulder. Try to find a little more expansion on your inhale. Use that exhale, that emptying out to twist in a little deeper. Couple more breaths. Good. As you exhale, come back to center. Extend your legs to straight. Give them a little shake. And then we're going to recross with our left shin in front, side to side. It can feel really different. So grab those blankets if you need to, if this is the tighter side. Root down evenly into your sit bones, lengthen through the sides of your waist, hands on your thighs. Allow your eyelids to close. Just a few breaths here. Dropping into that place of stillness. Using your breath as a tool, focusing on that sound of your breath to help you go there. And just know that some days it's really easy. Some days there's a lot of thoughts kicking around, or we're easily distracted by noises happening in the room. That's okay. And just do the best you can, but just kind of notice where you're at. Inhaling for length and exhaling, rooting down into your sit bones. From here, you're going to blink your eyes open. Fingertips come to the shoulder heads again. And this time we're going to start to get into the shoulder girdle here. So just making some circles, and you're going in a forward motion to start. If you've started going backwards, that's fine. You can just stick with that. And you can make these a little smaller. You can make them a little bigger. You're just kind of noticing how this feels. I'm getting some clicky, crunchy sounds. That can happen too. All right, so let's start to switch directions. If you're going backwards here, you're going to feel this nice stretching, opening of your across your heart and chest, those pectoral muscles, which can get really tight. All right, come to center. Inhale, stretch your arms out, root into your sit bones. And then as you exhale, twist to the left. Couple of breaths with your arms nice and wide like this. You could pretend that somebody is holding onto your wrist, two somebodies, and they're stretching you apart. And just look at what's in front of you. Just see it. And then we come into the full twist here. So left fingertips behind you, right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Of course, if that feels too deep, you could always have your right hand on your right thigh. And that is true of any of these poses. You can always modify, play around with that if it's not feeling like it's working. Are your shoulders creeping up around your ears here? Can you keep the shoulder blades releasing down and squeezing in towards each other? Can you keep those shoulder heads pressing back? So find a little cobra pose in your upper body. Couple more breaths here. Maybe your gaze is moving towards that left shoulder. A deep inhale. And as you exhale, you unwind, come back to center. From here, you're going to come to your tabletop position, and we're going to set up for some cat-cow. So just warming up the spine a little bit. And then we're going to flow a little bit. So today is our VinYin class. So first half of the class, just building a little heat, finding a little flow, and then we're going to come into some long held stretches. So as you're ready, firm down into your shins. Inhale, chest extends forward through the gates of your shoulders. And then as you exhale, move in the opposite direction. Belly button pulls towards those back ribs. Back of the neck lengthens. And then at your pace, maybe your eyes are closed here if that feels good. Otherwise, if they're open, just keep your gaze soft and gentle. You're not looking around. And this always feels really good first thing. Sometimes it can be a little intense. So just notice what's going on in your spine. Kind of do a little mini initial assessment. We're going to see how things shift as we continue to work and move. few more rounds. Good. On your next inhale, you're going to come back to a neutral spine. So you're neither arching nor rounding. And we're just going to do a little bird dog here. So getting into the core a bit, feel your outer hip squeeze in, feel your lower belly pull in. As you inhale, right leg, left arm reach. Keep those right toes pointing down, belly button pulling back. Exhale, release down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. See how long you can get. Keep your core working. Exhale, release. And then we're going to continue like this. So let's do 3 rounds, full complete rounds. So 3 to each side. You're moving with your breath. So some days it feels good to speed things up. Some days we want to slow everything down a little bit. Okay, so when you've completed 3 full rounds, go ahead and come back to that right leg, left arm, and hold there. Firm your belly button towards your back ribs, so belly's kind of pulling in and up. And then you can stay here like this, or maybe you bend your right knee. Reach back with your left hand, see if you can find the foot. And if you can get it, go ahead and just kick that foot into your hand. You start to spin your chest to the left. So there's a little back bend, nice quadricep stretch on that right thigh. We're going to be doing more of that. Good. Inhale. If you were in that variation, just go ahead and release. And then exhale, come on down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Good. So outer hips are squeezing in, lower belly is pulling in and up, shoulder blades are squeezing in towards each other. Hold on to all of that. So you can just stay here like this. Maybe you bend your left knee. Maybe you reach back with your right hand. See if you can find the foot. Side to side, it can always be quite different. If you've got the foot, kick that foot into your hand so you start to find a little twist and a little back bend. Nice little quadricep stretch. Are you breathing? Sometimes we hold the breath, especially these balance poses. Keep it moving. All right, as you inhale, lengthen out if you took the variation, and exhale, release down. So go ahead and walk your hands forward a couple of inches. You're just giving yourself space for your downward dog. You're gonna curl your toes under. Let's keep a bend in our knees as we start to pull our sit bones up towards the ceiling. Releasing head between, or your ears rather, between your inner arms. So the back of the neck is nice and long. Good. And then maybe start to allow your legs, your knees to straighten a little bit, heels melt back. You can always keep a deep bend in those knees, especially this first downward dog of the day, especially if you're tighter in your hamstrings, your lower back. Key into that rhythm of your breath again, that inhale through the nose, that exhale through the nose. And then from here, let's nice and slow, just start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. So you're coming to the top of your mat. Your feet are going to be about hips distance apart, second and third toe pointing forward. Little standing cobra here. So as you inhale, hands come to your shins, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So you're making a little L shape with your body. As you exhale, fold in. Hands could also be on your thighs. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold. Couple more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, folding in. Feel those arches engage. This time as you inhale, press into your feet. Stretch your arms out nice and wide. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So moving into Some half sun salutes here. And just connecting with the breath, starting to find space in the body. Inhaling, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, fold in, maybe with a little bend in your knees. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Let's do 3 more of those. I'm not going to cue you. Just move with your breath. Let these feel really good. Find a pace that's right for you. There's no rush. Good. And when you're done with your 3rd round, you're just pausing in your mountain pose, Tadasana, palms together at your heart. Gaze soft and gentle at your fingertips. And we're going to add on here. All right. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Step your left foot way back, lower onto that knee. We're going to inhale, rise up into our modified crescent pose. And then as you exhale, take your arms out wide. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. Keep squeezing the outer hips in. Inhale back to center. Good. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the right, hinge forward. Take that left elbow to the outside of that right thigh and then press your right palm to your left palm. Outer hips continue to squeeze in. Feel those left ribs wrapping up towards the ceiling. Check in with the breath. Couple more. Nice work. As you exhale, you start to unwind here. So just curl those left toes under, firm that thigh up, and we're just going to step back to our downward facing dog today. And then from here, you're going to inhale, lift your left leg. Just be careful of anything that's behind you. Exhale, step that foot through. Land on your right knee. You can always pat it up if you need to. Then you also want to make sure that you're not on a tightrope. So walk that left foot off to the left if you need. Inhale, rise up. It's modified crescent pose. You might be feeling a pretty intense stretch here on this right hip flexor. As you exhale, arms come out wide. Take a nice deep inhale. Keep the outer hip squeezing in. The only thing that moves is your upper body. Exhale, twist any amount to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Good. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the left, and then start to hinge forward. Bring that right elbow to the outside of your left thigh, and then press left palm into right palm. Everything is moving towards heart center, wrapping those right ribs up towards the ceiling. Breath smooth and steady. Just noticing how this feels. Good, nice deep inhale. From here, we exhale, unwind. Curl those right toes under, and then you're going to step that right foot to meet your left foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Good, exhale, hands come together at your heart. We're gonna do exactly the same thing for this second half of this unsalute C, but we're gonna do our full crescent pose this time. And if you prefer to just stick with the back knee down, that's absolutely fine. So here we go. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. So you're gonna step your right foot way back. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Inhale, rise up. So full crescent pose if you choose. You can have a little bend in that back knee, especially if that right hip flexor is tight. Exhale, arms out wide. Take a deep inhale here. And then exhale, twist to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale to center. Good, exhale, twist to the left. Start to hinge forward, elbow to the outside of that left thigh, palms press. And this is a little more intense with this back leg lifted, so you can lower that back knee if you need to. Otherwise, really fire that right thigh up towards the ceiling. Use that leverage of arm against left thigh to help you twist into the pose a little deeper. Check in with your breath, especially your inhale. Make sure it's as full as can be in this twist. Good. One more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, you unwind, palms plant, step back, downward facing dog. Watch what's behind you. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. On your inhale, rise up into your full crescent pose. So a little bend in that back knee can be really nice. You can always have that back knee down again. Gonna take our arms out wide on the exhale, and then find a nice deep inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. Keep the outer hip squeezing in, your lower belly pulling in and up. Exhale, twist in. Inhale to center. And then exhale, twist in, hinge forward, hook left elbow to outside of right thigh. And then you either fire up that left thigh or you lower that knee down. As you're doing that, you're vigorously pressing your palms towards heart center. Maybe you can start to lengthen that left side of your waist and wrap it up towards the ceiling a little more. Few good breaths here. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose, nice and even. Good. As you exhale, unwind, step your left foot to meet your right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest extends forward. Exhale, fold in. And then inhale, press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Okay, so we're going to start to shift gears here. We're going to move into the yin portion of our practice. So usually lots of variations for these, so I will offer those. We're going to start on our backs in our butterfly pose. So soles of our feet together. So you can, I'll just demo this really quick if you want to watch. You can come onto your back, bring the soles of the feet together. You could just be here like this. This is probably the most intense iteration of this pose. If you feel like you need a little support, you're going to take some blocks underneath your thighs. Like so. And then finally, if you want a little more intensity too, and you have a couple of pillows or blankets, or you could use blocks, you might take the soles of the feet onto the blanket. And again, here you might want some blocks underneath your thighs here just for a little support. And then as far as arms go, kind of depending upon what you want, they can either be by your side. If you want to get into the shoulders, the chest a little bit, cactus arms can feel really nice here. So go ahead and get yourself set up in this pose. And we're going to hold this for a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and actually bust out the timer here. So I know where we're at. So at this stage of the game, you are welcome to continue with your Ujjayi breath if that is feeling good for you. For a lot of us, that can be just a nice way to focus the mind. You can also be letting go of that at this point too. So you're inhaling and exhaling through your nose, but it might not have that effort. And then as much as possible in these yin stretches, so there's definitely a lot of sensation. We're not sensation free. Of course, we don't want to have anything that is painful. So if that's you, that means that you probably need to back out a little bit, give yourself more props. Maybe you even need to get out of the pose. That's always an option as well. But as opposed to our vinyasa practice, we're not engaging as much muscularly. So instead, we're trying to kind of stretch out the joints, the ligaments, trying to stretch out the muscles as well. So we're doing that by not engaging them in the same way. And it's interesting because they want to grip, they want to hold on, and we're kind of trained to do that in our vinyasa practice. So see if you can move in the opposite direction and just notice where you start to feel a deep, deep stretch. Always come out of poses, in and out of poses. That's absolutely fine if you need to. Just observe if there's any tension in your face and jaw. Can you soften there? We've got about a minute left, so probably about 7 or 8 breaths here. Wiggle around a little bit if you need to. Maybe melt in a little deeper if that's available to you in your body. All right, so go ahead and bring your hands to the outsides of your knees, thighs, and just use your hands to help draw the knees in towards each other. And if you've got your feet on a bolster, you can just kind of move it out of the way. And then let's take our feet as wide as our mat, bring your arms out in a T shape, and then nice and gentle, just start to windshield wiper your legs back and forth. So just releasing out the lower back. Okay, so when you feel even, bring knees back up to center. And then heel toe your feet so they're about hips distance apart. And we're going to come into a hip opener here. So our reclining pigeon pose, kind of a reclining sleeping swan pose. So we're going to take our right ankle above our left knee. Good. And then you can take your right hand into your right thigh and gently press forward. So perhaps this is where you stay. If it feels like you'd like a little more stretch, you're going to go ahead and bend your left knee into your chest. Then you're going to reach your hands through that triangle, your right hand through that triangle, and you're either going to interlace your fingers around your left thigh using the strength of your arms to pull that thigh closer to your chest. Or if you're a little more flexible, a little more open in the hips, you can interlace your fingers around that left shin. We're going to be here for a nice long hold, about 4 minutes. I'm going to give you a variation halfway through if you'd like to go with that. If you are watching this at home and you prefer to do your sleeping swan, or this would be your single pigeon pose, you can do that. I'm not going to show it today. I'm going to kind of do all of these yin poses on the floor today, just because I think that sounds good and is kind of a nice, even though this is intense, it's kind of a nice break sometimes too. But certainly if you're feeling like you want more, you can come upright. Your eyes can be open here. If that's you, gaze is just soft and gentle. Most of us prefer to have our eyes closed here. Kind of helps us to get inside the pose, inside our body, notice what's happening. Always checking in periodically in these yin stretches, just noticing if you've started to clench muscles anywhere, your face, your fingers, your toes. So doing these little body scans and releasing tension. The attention can wander a lot here. It can be really challenging to be in these longer held kind of quiet poses. If that's you, you could count your breath. Just give your brain a little something to chew on. If it's a sensation, if it is a sensation thing, maybe it means you need to back out a little bit. You're doing too much. So that's always a possibility. So as we come onto our halfway mark here, you might feel like this is a really nice place for you to stay, like you're getting a lot of good work. So that's absolutely fine. If you want to get more into this left hamstring, maybe you start to extend that left leg to straight. For me, this definitely changes the sensations in the pose. And you're welcome to hold this for a couple of minutes, this variation, or maybe you just do it for several breaths. Just see what you need. Perhaps check in with your shoulders, notice if there's any tension there. So in this pose, you want both shoulder blades releasing down towards the mat. All right, so if that left leg is extended straight towards the ceiling, go ahead and bend that knee. We're going to release this left foot down to the mat. And we're going to do a twist here. We're going to keep our legs like this. It's going to be a funky little twist. We're going to hold it for a couple of minutes. And of course, you're welcome to do any other twist if this one doesn't work for you. But your arms are going to come out wide in a T shape here. And then you're just going to fall to the outer edge of that left foot. Your right foot is going to stamp down into the earth. So that right sit bone is going to be lifted up off the mat. This kind of is this nice stretch, this twist into the lower right back area and that hip stretch. So again, a couple of minutes here. If this isn't working for you, this particular twist, you could simply have knees stacking on top of each other. So anything that you need. And you're pressing into the center of the back of your head. So you're gazing up at the ceiling. Perhaps you roll towards that right cheek and then start to stretch into the left side of the neck a little bit. As you're here, perhaps you can just think of there being a little weight to your exhale, and it's helping you to release that right sit bone down towards the floor. It's not going to go there. We don't want it to go there. But maybe that image will help you to feel a little more stretch in that area. And you're feeling those shoulder blades pressing really heavy into the mat underneath you. Always reminding yourself to come back to that sound of your breath when you notice that your attention has started to wander. Good. You're going to inhale. Make your way out of this twist. So coming to center. Good. And then uncross that right ankle. And then let's just extend our legs to straight. Give them a little shake out here before we take that sequence to the second side. You might even hug your knees in. You can rock and roll a little bit from side to side. And then feet return to the mat. We're going to take our left ankle, cross it above that right knee. So you might stay here like this. You might just give a little forward momentum. So pressing that left hand into the left thigh. And that might be enough. Or you might just stay here for several breaths, kind of warming things up. Eventually, or if you're ready now, you can also bend your right knee into your chest. Left hand comes through that triangle. Kind of just depending upon how this side feels, how you're built, how flexible you are. You either interlace your fingers around that right thigh, or right shin. And again, we've got 4 minutes here. I'll cue you at the halfway mark. We'll get into that right hamstring if that feels right for you. Otherwise, you're in this pose, you're noticing how this side feels in your body. Keeping your breath smooth and steady, nice and even. So we're coming up on our halfway mark here. If you wanted to take your right leg, extend it to straight, you're going to start to feel a nice stretch in the hamstring, maybe the glute. I'm kind of flexing my heel here. So I'm getting a nice, or flexing my foot rather, I'm getting a nice stretch in the heel, even the sole of the foot. So always feel free to kind of play around with things and just see where it takes sensation. And as mentioned on the other side, you can hold this for several breaths. You can hold it for a couple of minutes. It might look different than the other side. Always just paying attention to what your body needs. About 4 or 5 more breaths here. If your right leg is extended to straight, go ahead and bend that knee. Good, and then just release your right foot to the mat. So keeping the left ankle crossed over, bring your arms out in a T shape. And then we start to roll to the outer edge of the right foot. Stamp that left foot into the floor. So you can kind of see it's hard with my mat and the color of my pants, but my left sit bone is lifted up. So I'm feeling this nice stretch here through this lower left side, either looking straight up at the ceiling or gazing out over your left fingertips. And if this isn't working for you, this variation of twist, just go ahead and stack that left knee on top of your right knee. And then again, just use your exhale. Just imagine that it's helping you to release this left side of your waist down towards the floor, this left sit bone towards the floor. They're not going to get there. That's not even the actual aim, but just kind of imagine that. Certainly, you don't want to be gripping in those places. We've got a few more breaths here on this side. Good. As you inhale, it just starts to come back to center. Bring your arms by your side, uncross that left ankle, and then again, just extend your legs to straight. Just give them a little shake. And then let's hug our knees into our chest here. And we're going to come into reclining dragon pose. So getting into the hip flexor a little bit. So this is going to look like a half happy baby pose. So let's keep that right knee squeezing in. Just place your left foot down on the mat. And then you're going to either grab the outer edge of that right thigh and pull down. Some of us might be able to grab the outer edge of the foot. So you're welcome to stay here like this for a moment or for the whole thing. If it feels like you'd like a little more intensity, perhaps start to extend that left leg to straight on the floor. We've got a couple of minutes in this pose. So again, if it starts to feel too intense at any point, just back out, bend that left knee if you need to. And then you can let that right knee kind of externally rotate, open up as much as feels good in your body. Breath smooth and steady. Just check in there again. Always coming back to the breath. It's the piece that really weaves all of the poses together. It helps to keep us focused and present. A few more good breaths. If your left leg is extended, bend that knee. Just release that right foot. And then just take your feet wide. Let your knees knock in towards each other for a breath or two. And then heel toe your feet so they're back at hips distance apart. Bend that left knee. And again, you're kind of externally rotating, not even kind of, you are. So you're getting that nice hip opening. And then holding your left thigh with that left hand, maybe you can grab the outer edge of the foot, just depending upon flexibility, how things are feeling today. And stay like this for several breaths for the whole time. Maybe you start to extend that right leg to straight, and we've got a couple of minutes here. So kind of mix and match. This side might feel really different in your body. You can visualize your exhale going to any spots where you're feeling a lot of sensation. Just imagine that your breath is helping to open things up. How does this side feel different? Is there tension anywhere in your body that there doesn't need to be tension? Can you soften in those places? Good. If your right leg is extended to straight, go ahead and bend that knee. Good. And then let's give both knees a squeeze into the chest here. And from here, we're going to make our way into our final resting pose, our Shavasana. So, little proppage can be really nice. So a little support underneath the knees, especially if your lower back is tender. You could also just take your feet as wide as your mat and allow your knees to knock in towards each other, arms by your side, palms facing up. Otherwise, classic Shavasana here. If you wanted to take your heels up on that bolster, you're welcome to do that. And we'll just be here for a few minutes, soaking up these final quiet moments, just letting our bodies, our brains completely relax. Let your next inhale be deeper. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then start to wiggle fingers, toes, stretch your arms up overhead. Just bringing some gentle movement back to your body. As you're ready, you're going to roll to one side or the other. Just find the fetal position. And then you'll use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. So ending class as we started in our Sukhasana, but perhaps it's feeling a little easier, a little more spacious. So you're checking in one final time here, just noticing these shifts that you've created. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for working hard, for making the effort. Just promise yourself that you're going to carry this good feeling with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart. Just bow your head with a smile. Terrific work today. Thank you.